Okay, so question 1. There are 60 students at a college. 20 students study both French and Spanish. 13 students study French but not Spanish. A total of 43 students study Spanish. We need to complete the Venn diagram that we can see below for this information. I'm going to begin with 20 both French and Spanish. Okay, 20 both French and Spanish. So students that study both are going to be in the intersection of the Venn diagram. Okay, so that's the overlap in the middle. So that's 20 there. All right, so just taking off that 20. Next up, 13 students study French but not Spanish. 13 students study French but not Spanish. So that means 13 needs to go here. Okay. French but not Spanish. Right, so other information that we've got here that is important. We've used the 20, we've used the 13. We are also told that a total of 43 students study Spanish. 43 students study Spanish. At the moment, we know some students, 20 of them study both, and it's 43 that study Spanish in total. So what I need to do to work out what goes in this box here is I need to do 43 subtract 20. Okay, so that's my calculation there to work out what goes in that box. So that gives me 23 here. Okay, so I've used that information there. And now the only thing that's missing here is what goes outside of outside here. Okay, so what do I need to do here? Well, I need to do a subtraction because I've got this important information at the top. I know that there are 60 students at the college, so I'm going to be using the 60 now. I need to be starting with my 60, and from 60 I need to be subtracting the number of students who do Spanish, so that's 43. Okay, remember that 43 comes from the total of 20 and 23. I need to be subtracting 13 as well. Okay, so on my calculator I'm doing 60 subtract 43. That gives me then is it gives me 4. Okay, this gives me 4, and that 4 goes here. Okay, and once we've got that, that is enough for our marks. That is enough for our 3 marks. How might you earn maybe 1 or 2 marks here? There is going to be 1 mark here from having 13 and 20 in their correct positions. Your next mark here is going to be from calculating. It's going to be from calculating either. That's where you come, and then the final mark is that the complete diagram is correct. Right, so the next part of the question is, one of the students at the college is to be selected at random. Really important thing here just to highlight is random. We need to write down the probability that this student studies neither, sorry, I said either, I meant to say neither. That suggests to me that highlighting neither is going to be a good idea. Neither French nor Spanish. So we're looking at our Venn diagram here, and outside we have our 4. Remember that 4 represents students who study neither French nor Spanish. So our 4, that's our numerator, and we're looking for the total number of students here as well, and we know that from the question is 60. So our answer here is 4/60. Okay, 4 is our numerator, 60 is our denominator. Of course, with this question you could have any answer that is equivalent to 4/60. So perhaps you've simplified to 2/30. perhaps you've simplified to 1/15. Any of those options is fine. It's the equivalent fraction that's needed. Okay. Okay, so for our next question, you can see already what I've done is I've got myself a bit of tracing paper, and I've made sure that I have just drawn on where triangle P is. Okay, and I'm looking for a single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q here. Okay, so really important, make sure that we've drawn this on in tracing paper. And the important information we need to give here then is the type of transformation and some details around that type of transformation as well. So first of all, what we need to have down is that this is a rotation. Okay, so we're writing down rotation. Okay, and hopefully what we can see here is that actually the shape, if we rotate it 90 degrees, I'll just pick a random center of rotation, we'll do the actual one in a moment. If I rotate 90 degrees, okay, 90 degrees, that is, that's how far we do need to turn. So it is going to be 90 degrees, but it is going to be anti-clockwise as well. Okay, so it is a rotation that is 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Now, you will know that if it's a 90 degrees anti-clockwise rotation, this is exactly the same as a 270 degrees. Okay, so using the fact that angles around a point at 360 degrees. So that 90 degree anti-clockwise rotation is exactly the same as a 270 degrees clockwise rotation. Okay, so you can have either of those because they do mean the same thing. It must be a rotation though. And that final bit of information needed then is the center of rotation. Okay, so sometimes what we can do is a little bit of trial and error with this. Say for example I tried this point here, not -3. Let's do my rotation. Okay, I don't quite hit the shape that I want here, so I'm going to try, I was close, I'm going to try just 1 point above, so not -2. Again, I'm close, but not quite. Let's return to my original, the object here, and let's try 0, -1. Okay, just putting my pen on that and rotating it 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and there we have it. Okay, our image is there on Q. So, it's 90 degrees anti-clockwise or 270 degrees clockwise. Center, and that center was 0, -1. Okay, 0, -1. For 2 marks, we need to see everything here, absolutely everything. But for 1 mark, you can name 2 of those things. Okay, you can name 2 of those things. Okay, so our next question is about our outlier. Right, so information about maximum daily temperatures and number of children at a paddling pool, and we are looking for our outlier. Our outlier it's over here. Okay, so just mark our outlier. Question is asking us to explain a possible reason for why this is an outlier. We can see here that there is a high temperature, but there is a low number of children visiting the pool. So we can have any plausible reason why this might have happened. So I'll give you one example from the reason, from the mark scheme, sorry. It could have been raining, for example. Okay, so we're saying is a reason why on this particular hot day there weren't any children because it might have been raining. Another reason from the mark scheme, it could have been raining, it could have been a school day. Okay, it could have been a school day. Right, that would be a reason why on a hot day not many children visited this paddling pool. It could have been a school day. Now, the next part of this question is, what type of correlation does the scatter graph show? And what we're seeing is, as the number of children increases, other way around of course, as the maximum daily temperature increases, the number of children increases too. So what that shows us is a positive correlation, okay? A positive correlation. Positive and positive only is needed here for the mark. So the next part of this question, we have some more information, and we are told that on the 11th day, the maximum daily temperature was 19 degrees Celsius, okay, up here. We need to write down an estimate for the number of children going to the paddle pool on this 11th day. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to my data, and I am going to draw a line of best fit. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am trying to evenly split points so they are on either side of my line. Okay. There's my line. And 19 degrees Celsius. Right, so I am just using my line, going up to 19 degrees Celsius, and from that I am reading off a number of children. Okay, just a dash line here. It doesn't have to be a dash line. Okay, but we can see here that is 15, 16, that's 17. Okay, so 17 children. So that was my answer based on my line that I drew. That would have been correct. But actually, the mark scheme gives a range, and that is between 15 and 25 children. Okay, so you've got margin for error there, between 15 and 25 children. The next part of the question here, the final part, is it would not be sensible to use the scatter graph to predict the number of children going to the paddling pool on a day when the maximum daily temperature was 13 degrees Celsius. Okay. Give a reason why. Okay, we need to give a reason why. Now, returning back to our graph, over here, that's 13. Okay, so a sensible answer here is going to say that 13 degrees C is outside of our data range. Okay, that would be a sensible answer here. Okay, so next question. Diagram shows a shape A, B, C, D, E, F. All of the corners of the shape are right angles. Okay, so we've got some right angle triangles here, and the perimeter of the shape is 28 meters. Okay, important stuff there. We need to work out the area of ABCE. Okay, so ABCE is, just in case you weren't sure, it is the shaded area. Okay, we're working out this shaded area. To begin with, I can see that we've got some unknown sides that we need to work out. So DE to begin with. Just trying to make it clear as possible. DE is 4 meters plus 2 meters, which is 6 meters. And then we have got a few unknowns here. We've got this length here. Let's call this X, which corresponds with here, X. then we know this here is 3 meters. Okay. So what we need to do is work out those missing lengths. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use the fact that the perimeter is 28 meters. So we've got that 28 is equal to, first of all, we've got two x's, so 2x, and then we are adding on 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus 2. Okay, and then we're solving to find out what x is. So 28 is therefore equal to 2x plus 18. And then 10 is equal to 2x, taking 18 from both sides there. 10 is 2x, that means that 5 is equal to x. So we now have these missing lengths. Okay, and I'll write them in just on the diagram here in blue. So we've got 5 meters. And we know that this is here 5 meters. And now I'm going to start finding the area. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to draw a larger shape here, a larger rectangle, which we can see is going to measure 5 plus 3, so 8 meters by 6 meters. So I'll just move that up so you can see it. So it's 8 meters by 6 meters. Okay, so my calculation is going to be that the shaded area is equal to, so the full rectangle, so 6 times 8, or 8 times 6, and I'm going to subtract then, first of all, I need to subtract that rectangle there, so I'm subtracting 2 times 5, so I'm going to write out my full calculation, and then I've got 2 triangles to subtract. One of these is a 4 by 8 triangle, so I'm subtracting 4 by 8 over 2, and I'm also subtracting 6 times 3 over 2. Okay, and this goes onto my calculator, and it gives me an answer of 13. Of course, I then need to reinterpret this answer because it is an area. The answer is therefore 13 meters squared. Okay, 13 meters squared. Okay, next question. Simultaneous equations. Okay. Obviously, you'll know from your lessons that there's a number of different ways we can solve these. I am going to rearrange the second equation. I'll highlight it. So that x is the subject, and then I will substitute it into the first equation. So rearranging gives me that x is equal to 13 plus 5y. Okay, that's that rearranged. Now I'm going to substitute it in. So I have got, and I'll do it, keep it over on the left hand side here, 4 lots of 13 plus 5y, and that's plus y, and that's equal to 10. Okay, expand those brackets, so we've got 52 plus 20y plus y is equal to 10. I need to solve this for y, so I end up with 21y on this side. I've taken away 52, so I've got negative 42, so I've got 21y is equal to negative 42. Okay, so that gives me a solution of y is equal to negative 2. Okay, so that's my first part here, y is equal to negative 2. And now I need to substitute that in to either of the equations. I'm going to go with the first one. So we've got that 4 lots of x, so 4x, plus y, and here y is negative 2, so plus negative 2 is equal to 10. Okay, so just simplifying that, that's 4x take 2 is equal to 10. So that means 4x is equal to 12, and x is therefore equal to 3. So there's our solutions there. X is equal to 3, and y is equal to negative 2, and that is our solutions for that one. Let's go on to the next question. Question question 6. Okay, so we have a table of values. Again, you have your calculator here, so these calculations are straightforward. You do not have to do them in your head. 3 divided by 0.5 is 6. 3 divided by 1. Divided by 1 is 3, of course. Sorry. Next up, 3 over 3 is 1. Next up, 5 over 3 is 0.6. And finally, 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. I think I made a slight error there in how I talked about this. Of course, I meant to say 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, but what you're interested in are what your values are, and it's 6, 1, 0.6, and 0.5. So, second part of the question here is drawing on our graph. So, let's do, first of all, when x is 0.5, y is 6, so making sure we're not putting it on 0 here because x is 0.5, y is 6, that's our first point. Next up, 1 and 3. Next up, 2 and 1.5. Next up, 3 and 1. Next up, 4 and 0.75, so taking care here, 5, 6, 7 and halfway between them is 0.75. Next up 5, 0.6. And next up 6 and 0.5. Okay, so we now need to draw a smooth curve. Just going to move around, make it a bit easier. Okay, there's your smooth curve. Next up is our currency question here. So CD box set in 3 different countries, UK, USA and Germany. We're given some exchange rates here. When I get an exchange rate question, I like to just make it a little bit clear about what this means. So £1 is equal to $1.43. That means if we are converting from pounds to dollars, we are multiplying by 1.43. If we're going the other way, we are dividing by 1.43. And then we've also got euros to pounds, so we know that, get that euro drawn right, 1 euro is equal to 0.73 pounds, so that if we're converting from euros to pounds, we are multiplying by 0.73, converting from pounds to euros, we are dividing by 0.73. And remember, all of these will be done on our calculator. Okay, so I am going to put all of these in pounds. Okay, I'm going to go for pounds here. So we've already got UK is £98. I'm going to keep an eye on that at £98. That's going to be our comparison. And then first of all, we've got $144.99. So my dollars to pounds is to divide by 1.43. So the calculation I'm doing here, the $134.99 divided by 1.43. I'll do that on my calculator, and that gives me 94.40. 94.40, and that's to 2 decimal places because we're dealing with money. Okay, so that is the US. I'll just write that to remind me. Next, 99. Sorry, the lag there. 139 euros and 99 cents. Now that's euros to pounds, so I need to multiply. So for Germany, your calculation on your calculator is 139 euros and 99 cents multiplied by 0.73. And 2 decimal places, that gives us 102.19, so that's £102.19. So what this is saying is it's £98 in the UK, it's £94.40 in the US, and it's £102.19 in Germany. So from which country should she buy them? It's going to be USA. And that's because £94.40 is less than £98, which is less than £102.19. Okay, so USA. Next up, why might your answer not be the best country for Gina to buy the box set from? So you're looking to write something like, it costs a lot in postage. To deliver from the USA. Okay, something along those lines. And then we've got question 8. We've got some ratios given to us here. I'll zoom in a bit closer to it so we're not focusing on question 7 so much anymore. We've got our original ratios, a to the b, and we want a to the b to the c. So we have 8 to the 5. We have 3 to the 4, and what's important here is our lowest common multiple of the shared letter. B, both of ours here, so we need the lowest common multiple of 5 and 3, which is 15. So what you would have noticed is that 5 has been multiplied by 3, so we've got to do the same with 8, meaning that A is 24. And then hopefully you've noticed that 3 has been multiplied by 5, so we've got to do the same with 4. So 4 times 5 gives us 20. So the correct answer here is 24 to 15 to 20. 24 to 15 to 20. And last but not least, question 9. I'm not going to look at this one today. We need to write 3.6 times 10 to the 4 as an ordinary number, and just write this exactly how it appears on our calculator. It gives us 36,000. Remember, this is 3.6 times 10,000, so that gives us 36,000. And last but not least, here we go. We write this exactly how it appears onto our calculator. Full calculator display first. 5.957446809 times 10 to the power of negative 8. And we are rounding to 3 significant figures. First significant figure is the 5, the second significant figure is the 9, the third significant figure would be the 5, but we need to round that 5 to 6 because of the 7 that comes after it. This would round to 5.96, that decimal part of our standard form number, but we need to put that fully in standard form for our answer. So it's 5.96 times